Did you see that Jen finally paid off her late fees from 2 months ago?
Well, I didn't realize she was behind. I've been running to her this whole time.
No, not Jenny Jen. Jen.
You mean Jennifer? I think she goes by Jenna.
No, not Jenna. Jenny.
Then why'd you say Jen?
I think we need a better system for this.
Welcome to Rewind Video. I'm Bob.
I'm Rob.
And we love movies. Good ones, bad ones, old ones, new ones, movies about men, movies with women, and everything in between.
It's true.
Yeah. Rob, did you hear about our new hire?
No. Am I being replaced?
No. Your job is safe. All I know is that we have someone new, and her name is Jennifer.
Okay.
Haven't seen her resume, but I hope her qualifications are up to snuff to be a Rewind Video counter clerk.
That would probably be the first one that we hired, but...
Yeah. You can't help but to wonder, though, what kind of Jennifer is she? Is she the Jennifer Aniston type, kind of obsessed with her friends?
She is.
She the Jennifer Connelly type, always complaining that things aren't fair, yada, yada, yada. Maybe the Jennifer Garner type, always wondering what you've got in your wallet. I mean,
I was wondering where you're going with this one.
Right. I suppose only time will tell. But of course, one thing we do know is that this Jennifer won't have anything to do with the staff recommendation shelf.
Nope, not
That
while
job is ours.
while we're alive.
Yes. Each week, you and I are choosing 6 films that are deserving of our customers' attention. And when we choose those films, we adhere to a theme. This week's theme is Jennifers.
And if you need to reach them, you can call them at 867-5309.
Yes. So we've done something like this before with Roberts.
Yes.
Right? And since there are so many Jennifers, why not do a version of this theme for the ladies?
There's a lot of Jennifers out there.
Yeah, tons. And variations on the Jennifer name. Although, I think that we are both choosing exclusively Jennifer, I go by Jennifer people this week.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
right?
true.
Yeah.
But Jenna would have been fine.
Jenna would have been fine.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Jen.
Yeah, all the variations.
I think that's it. But yeah, anything like that.
Not a Gina. That's
Gina's a different name.
Yeah, that's a different
Yeah.
name. Yeah. So the criteria, I think, a little bit more black and white than usual. Either a movie has a character named Jennifer, stars a Jennifer, or perhaps has a Jennifer behind the camera, or it doesn't make the cut.
There's a lot of Jennifers out there, just in general, not just in movies, in general.
Yeah.
Growing up, it seemed like there was a ton.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, this seems like everybody's named Jennifer. And then, but it is, I mean, it was the number one girl name for like decades.
Yeah. We come from a time that was right smack dab in the middle of that, too. So, now we wouldn't nominate a movie that we watched with a Jennifer or reminds us of a Jennifer. We are more strict than that.
We do have rules here at Rewind Video.
Yeah.
So, But we went with stars.
Yes. I've chosen some older films this week. 2 of my movies are from the 80s. One, and the most recent one is from the 90s. But, it wasn't that wasn't for lack of options.
Sad that we're referring to movies from the 80s and 90s as old movies.
It's true. But they are getting old. I mean, you reminded me of this a couple weeks ago. Maybe we were talking about the Goonies, and you made the point that not everybody has seen it. And that's true. It's those decades are older than they feel.
I mean, how long ago? I mean, it was 1985 was almost, it was 40 years ago.
40 years ago.
So 40 years from we were watching movies in the early 90s. We're talking about the 50s.
Yeah. And those movies felt very old.
They were and they are very old.
Well, I am particularly excited about what we've got coming to the shelf this week. I think there's some fun overlapping in places and some great Jennifers on screen. Yeah.
Some real winners tonight.
Indeed. All right, well, why don't you get us started as you usually do with your first pick for Jennifers?
Okay, I'm going to start us in 1987, a very old movie.
Oh, yeah.
This movie is called Dirty Dancing. Now, we keep this videotape in the corner of the store on its very special shelf.
Yes.
Here's the back of the box. Expecting the usual tedium that accompanies a summer in the Catskills with her family, 17-year-old Frances Baby Houseman is surprised to find herself stepping into the shoes of a professional hoofer and unexpectedly falling in love. Hoofer?
Hoofer? That's a new one.
I've never heard a dancer referred to as a hoofer before or since.
Then again, I don't run in the type of circles where professional dancers are being hired, or hoofers for that matter. So maybe it's a common term in...
Seems like a slur.
It does.
But I don't know. Maybe that's what like dancers call themselves. Who knows? Maybe
right.
Maybe whoever was writing the back of the box in 1987 had a little bit of a took a swipe at a dancer.
Right.
Here's the tagline: First dance, first love, the time of your life.
I mean, that's a good tagline.
It gets the job done.
Yeah.
Tells you what's about to happen. So this is the story of a teenage girl, Baby, in the early 60s who goes with her family for the summer to a resort in the Catskills. And she ends up in a romantic relationship with the dance instructor, played by the legendary Patrick Swayze.
Right.
Baby, of course, is played by Jennifer Grey.
Right.
This was just a smash hit. This was like a $5 million movie that no one really had any expectations for when it was coming out. And it grossed like $200 million worldwide. And that was that was just like the tip of the iceberg. It was like the number one video the next year, was the first tape to sell 1 million copies. As of 1997, it was still selling 40,000 copies a month. This is something that people like are devoted to still to this day. Like once it entered the zeitgeist, it kind of never left.
No. And I think the music has something to do with that. Not to mention some key scenes in this.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to like here. This was just recently the 500th movie to ever get 1 million logs on Letterboxd.
Really?
Yeah. So, and like that kind of skews towards newer movies. Newer movies get a lot more logs in there. That just kind of shows you that this just like continues to live on to this day.
Yeah, people are watching it.
Letterboxd, the audience is skewing younger generally. The audience is like tech savvy. They're only logging things they're watching recently, and it's still like the 500th most popular movie on Letterboxd.
Wild.
And this is also the movie that launched Swayze into sexual icon status.
I mean, I can think of another one that might have helped, but we'll get to that.
It's easy to see why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, for
like,
sure.
And like I think that's one of the reasons this movie lives on the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at the Letterboxd reviews, for instance, like it is just, I mean, people are just getting fucking worked up. Yeah. I mean, and that's what this movie. That's what this movie was about. If you were a 12 or 13-year-old girl when this came out, like this, I would imagine this is a pretty important movie in your lifetime.
You had a poster, probably.
But everything about Swayze is mesmerizing. Like the way he talks, the way he acts, the way he moves. But what really like made me realize it on this rewatch was like I saw it in Jennifer Grey's eyes. Oh. Like the first scene where she dances with him, that shot of her face, I was like, oh, I get it. I see. I really get it.
Right.
Jennifer Grey was hired first for this movie. Mm-hmm. Not because she's a good dancer, even though her dad was a professional dancer, I believe.
Oh, yeah? Dances in the family?
Dances in the family, but like I don't know that she necessarily did any of it. I don't get that impression. But the producers met with her and they were like, oh, she's the one. Like, she's Baby. We're going to build this movie around her.
Yeah.
Even though she was 26 at the time, which... I've heard some grumblings over the years, but
she looks young.
She looks young.
She definitely.
I totally agree. She plays young. Like I buy her as a teenager, like a movie teenager.
Yes.
There's just a really young energy to her. The scene in the lake when they're practicing the lift.
Yeah.
I did like when that scene started. I did have a moment like, oh, who's that 30-year-old woman in the lake? Like I didn't recognize her at first because her hair was like wet and flat.
Yeah.
And so like she did look her age, but like otherwise, I think like she she looks the part. Like Swayze's 34, so he's too old for his part too.
For sure.
So like it totally works.
Yeah. Yeah, they match each other, and that's what matters. You know, one of them doesn't look significantly older than the other, and I can believe that they're younger than they are in
totally works.
Yeah.
For the Swayze part, they were looking for somebody who could like actually do the dancing, and so they wouldn't have to cut away to, because they wanted to use these actors. They didn't want to cut away to like stunt dancers. So they looked at Val Kilmer, Benicio del Toro, Billy Zane.
Oh wow.
But the only person who like really checked the boxes was Swayze, who is a trained dancer.
Yeah.
And his resume was like no dancing because I guess he'd had a pretty bad knee injury.
Oh.
But he was a trained dancer, and so like he could do everything. He just like he wasn't going to do it, but they talked him into it. You know. So great. Jennifer Grey was like not into the Swayze casting because she was in Red Dawn with Swayze, and they did not get along.
Right.
And I don't know a whole lot about that. I don't know if you do. Maybe you do. It comes off to me as like he was kind of like an older brother, like a jerk older brother figure.
Yeah.
Amongst like a lot of younger actors, and he was just kind of like, I don't know, some light bullying, pranks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right.
And she was like, I don't like this dude. Like he was kind of a jerk on this last movie.
Yeah.
But eventually the producers were like, well, you know, it's not your decision.
Yeah.
So he's like the only guy who's a good enough actor, and he's the best dancer that we can find. Like, and your chemistry is off the charts. Like, what do you want us to do? Like, we're gonna have to hire him.
Your job is to act.
Yes.
So please go act.
So the rest is history. But I mean, the dancing in this is incredible. The music is incredible.
Yeah.
The Jennifer Grey Swayze stuff is obviously great. But him with the other dancer too, the pro, amazing. The late night party that she shows up to.
Oh, it's great.
It looks like a fucking great place to hang out.
It does.
I mean, like that, they probably do that every night there, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's a lot of oldies and a lot of new songs that are definitely not old, but like they fit.
Yeah, you know, so Netflix has one of those how the movie was made documentaries on Dirty Dancing, and one of the tidbits that I took away from watching that, this was like 2 years ago or something, was that the song at the end, I've Had the Time of My Life, wasn't on the radar prior to this movie, and I guess the music coordinator was just being sent hundreds of songs for that scene and just went through all of them and couldn't find anything that worked until landing on that. And that song only became popular because of this movie.
Didn't they pick it on the day they shot? That's what I heard.
Yeah, it was like very late in the game. So probably
the crew, the cast and crew were like, all right, we got like a couple options. Like, what are we going with? And they're like this one. Yeah. And it became this fucking gigantic song.
Yeah. It's a banger.
I also don't want to overlook the setting of this movie. It's a really good-looking movie. This is like a Borscht Belt resort. It's got big green lawns and rolling hills and
it's beautiful.
Big stately lodges and clubhouses and like these bungalow camp places for the staff. It just looks so good on film. Like it looks like a great place to spend for the summer. Like probably not with your family. Like I get why Baby hates it, but
right.
But like going there for the summer would be so cool. It'd be a great place to get a summer job at.
Yes,
you get to go to those dance parties up in those shacks on the hill. It just looks like it's a great setting for this movie, and I think we shouldn't overlook it
for sure. Now, remind me what year this came out.
1987.
1987. So, I'm always delighted when I rewatch this to see Duke Best show up, who plays the character of Jack Weston, because he was in Rad.
Oh,
the guy who was organizing Hell Track, and that movie was a year prior. So I like to think that Rad got him this part.
I mean, this was the peak of his career.
Yeah,
these two movies back to back. I'd have to say that would be the peak of anyone's career. I think.
I'm sorry, Duke Best is his name in Rad. I'm thinking of Jack Weston.
Okay,
yeah, but I mean,
it's an odd thing to note, but
he's obviously cemented in my mind for his role in Rad, which is why.
He's on. Everybody in that movie is on some sort of Mount Rushmore somewhere. Yes. The last scene of this movie, the final dance scene, it lasts for 7 minutes. It's just off the charts good. It's just so good.
It is. I've got a question for you when you, I mean, maybe now's the time to ask it. In my mind, there are two peak dancing movies from the 80s, both of them with final scenes that are just incredible. There's this and there's Footloose. And I'm curious, if you had to choose one, where would you come out? Independent of our theme for this evening.
Would you believe I've never seen Footloose?
What? No, I wouldn't. Oh, boy.
Yeah. I mean, I do have some blind spots.
Okay.
You know, and that's one of them.
Wow. Well,
I would love for you to recommend it sometime.
I promise I will. I can't. I'm surprised I haven't already, but okay. Well,
I can't believe that the ending to Footloose is better than this one.
I mean, it might be leaps and bounds better. We'll see. We'll see.
I mean, let's put it this way. I think the lift in this is like one of the all-time movie moments. Period. Well, end of sentence.
People are still trying and failing to reenact it at weddings, and that's probably why this movie continues to live on a little bit. It's one of the reasons.
The one time they did it, that's the one take that they did it in this movie is the only time they completed the lift. That's the only time they ever did it.
Really?
They did it once, and that's it.
I mean, it doesn't look easy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try it.
But it's transcendent.
It is.
Like it takes it turns it. I mean, it's like a magic trick in itself. It's amazing. I got to the end credits of this movie. I rewound it and watched the last 7 minutes again. I was like, I just got to watch it over again. It's that good.
Okay.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Dirty Dancing, it's rated 3.7 overall on Letterboxd. 21,000 people have it in their 4 favorites. 21% agree with my 5-star rating.
5-star?
5-star
Oh,
rating.
wow. Okay.
I think if you asked me before the last scene, I might have been at 4 stars.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But I could not deny the end of this movie.
Sure.
Which,
okay.
I've seen before. And it works every time. It just works every time.
Yeah.
So 5 stars. Amanda agrees with me on Letterboxd. She says, "This is my porn and my serotonin." I mean, people are horny for this movie.
Oh, for sure.
Like the Letterboxd reviews. I mean, it's like Cillian Murphy was in this movie.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, because anytime he shows up, it's just people on Letterboxd just.
But yeah, especially I was looking at the 5-star reviews, so obviously they're kind of skewed.
Sure.
But like literally 75% of the reviews were like, "I want Patrick Swayze like all over me." It was just like a little pornographic. But they get it. They get it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not quite that for me, but I'm putting Dirty Dancing up on the staff recommendation shelf this week for Jennifer's.
I mean. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
It's a classic for a reason.
It is.
Well, I think that's a good place to start. And I think my movie is perhaps a good place to go next.
Could be.
I'm going to the Hits Different in 2025 section of the store. And I'm plucking something from just a few years earlier, 1984.
Okay.
And it is Red Dawn.
Oh, that one.
Yes. Some would say the quintessential Jennifer Grey, Patrick Swayze movie. Who knows? I don't know. Some I don't think, people are talking.
Let's be honest.
People are talking.
Nobody's saying that.
Here's the back of the box. It is the dawn of World War III. In Midwestern America, a group of teenagers band together to defend their town and their country from invading Soviet forces. That's it.
Yeah.
The tagline is, "In our time, no foreign army has ever occupied American soil until now."
Scary.
Yeah. So who's the Jennifer? Of course, it is, again, Jennifer Grey playing Tony, one of the resistance fighters. So, Rob, this film doesn't ask you to carry a watermelon. It asks you to carry a rifle. And perhaps an emotional burden, a strong emotional burden. This is directed by John Milius. And Red Dawn is a Cold War era action drama that combines teen angst with some military grade intensity. The premise is rooted in American fears of foreign invasion, and this movie wastes no time getting right into it, throwing the characters into the chaos. I mean, it's literally the first scene is, paratroopers coming out of the sky. So definitely steeped in some 80s patriotic paranoia. It ends up being a pretty fast-paced, emotionally high-stakes action movie. We've got Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen here, Jennifer Grey, Leah Thompson, and bombastic, maybe a bit jingoistic, but no denying the impact it had on a generation of moviegoers.
I think this movie is about Vietnam from the Vietnamese side. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that's what it's about, and it's like it's cloaked in this, oh my God, the Russians are coming story, but like it's about like what if we were the Viet Cong, you know?
For sure. I mean, it's made by people who are familiar enough with that conflict that they're able to tap into it, and I don't disagree with you at all. That's definitely what's going on here. This holds the distinction of being the first ever PG-13 rated movie, and that's right. Yeah, the MPAA kind of created this designation in response to violent content in films like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Gremlins was one of them. But to your point, John Milius, known for co-writing Apocalypse Now, he was also the director of Conan the Barbarian. But this definitely kind of carries his signature macho flair and bombastic tone. This was shot in New Mexico with towns dressed up to kind of represent the American frontier, and they did actually consult with some military advisors for guidance on how the teens were kind of conducting their guerrilla warfare, and definitely a little controversial upon release, with critics and audiences finding the premise a little alarmist and politically provocative.
What are you complaining about, really?
Yeah, I mean...
Is it because kids are involved? Or
maybe,
just saying,
I think so.
We shouldn't tell people that this is possible? Like, I don't know.
I don't either. I mean, it's weird to look back on that now. I would say that separating this movie from some of the, I don't know, paranoia that exists today in this country, had you watched this maybe like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I don't think anybody would be saying that about it.
I mean, it was also the early on in the Reagan era.
Yeah.
And I think they were like, we're too awesome for this to ever happen to us. How dare you?
Yeah.
Even insinuate that the Russians are capable of this.
Right. Partnering up with the Cubans, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, why did I choose this? I love that this just hits the gas and never lets up. Mm-hmm. It's intense, serious. I also think it's shockingly adult, even for a PG-13 movie. I mean, we see kids getting shot in school, again, within the first 5 minutes. And there's some tough stuff that this movie deals in.
It's important that these are like not kids either.
Right.
Like I think maybe like people got the impression it was like it's the Goonies against the Russians, but it's not that.
No.
These are like, I mean, Jennifer Grey was if she was 26 in Dirty Dancing, that means she was 20 something in this movie, right?
Yeah,
so like,
23.
These aren't like real teenagers, like
right.
So it's a little bit more believable that they can get their shit together like this.
I agree, and it's funny because I don't have much more background than what you mentioned about Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze's chemistry in this. I mean, Jennifer Grey's role is significantly smaller than it was in Dirty Dancing, and I don't know. It's not that you can feel tension between them, but I mean, it's a tense movie, and I don't know. She doesn't have a ton to do.
Right. It's a very ensemble piece. Like, Swayze is, I guess, the star. Yeah. But it's not just about him.
No. It's definitely about... I mean, it's got a little bit of a Lord of the Flies quality to it with these kids kind of going into the hills and just having to figure things out by themselves. And I like that this isn't afraid to kill main characters off and show you some of the horrors of war as these kids are experiencing it. So, there's some emotional gravity here that's, I would say, rare, especially today in PG-13 movies.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like, even in our country, 18-year-olds are in war,
Yes. Yes.
Have you talked to an 18-year-old recently? They're babies.
Oh, they're very young.
Yeah.
They're not even 19.
Yeah. I mean, they're not adults. I know that.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds you of just how scary the situation of war is, independent of it happening in America. But yeah, Jennifer Grey, like I said, doesn't have a significant. She's more than just a dance partner here, but not quite as prominent as Dirty Dancing. And nevertheless, it's still a Swayze Grey collaboration. This did fairly well at the box office, $38 million domestically on a $17 million budget, and it has a Letterboxd rating of 3.1. I have it at 4 stars, along with 13% of other users. A mere 222 people have this on their list of 4 favorites. It has been remade, much like Dirty Dancing was. I haven't seen the remake.
Me neither. I don't think I need to.
I don't either. Yeah.
This one's great. I have it 4 stars too. 3.1 seems really low.
It does seem low.
It has like an independent, like war movie feel. Mm-hmm. I think maybe people discount it a little bit because it is quote kids.
Yeah, but we still get some good action, some great explosions, some helicopters.
Explosions.
I pulled a review from a friend of mine who had a take on this that I cannot argue with. And the user Blair said, "I'm still not sure what the strategic importance of rural Colorado was."
I think they're just trying to get as much as they can.
Yeah. It's a good question. But I'm putting Red Dawn on the shelf right alongside Dirty Dancing. You can choose your Jennifer Grey, Patrick Swayze collaboration. Both are up here. And that's my first pick for Jennifer's.
They're both good.
They are.
There's obviously a clear preference amongst our customers.
Sure. But, we'll know when we see the renting numbers this week. So, yeah.
I've been looking at the numbers. Okay, I'm going to bring us up to the year of 2019.
All right.
The movie is Hustlers. This is filed under Dirty Dancing.
Yes.
Back of the box, a crew of savvy former strip club employees band together to turn the tables on their Wall Street clients.
Yep.
No tagline.
That's fine.
No tagline, yeah. I'm fine with that. This is a crime comedy thriller with Constance Wu, Keke Palmer, Lily Reinhart, and Jennifer Lopez as exotic dancers at a high-end New York strip club.
Right.
They kind of go from doing the normal stripper things to coax money out of their customers to outright grand thefts by drugging them and then maxing out their credit cards while they're passed out.
Yep.
This is based on a true story. The name of the club in the movie is Moves. The one in real life is Scores, which if anybody who listened to Howard Stern in the late 90s, early 2000s recognizes Scores.
Yeah, he talked a lot about it.
So like it catered to Wall Street guys and back when everybody was getting rich and all this money was sloshing around.
Yes.
Everybody was doing well, including the strip club. But then the recession hit in 2008 and all that changed. The dancers started getting desperate, and they basically start this crime ring that's disguised as club promotion.
Right.
Which honestly, it's not far off from legitimate club promotion.
Really, yeah.
Normally they just get you in there and get you to buy $500 bottles of liquor, and those are the people selling the drugs too.
Yeah.
So the whole ringleader of this operation is Jennifer Lopez, who's a dancer who's been at this club for years. She's kind of become a mentor for a lot of the dancers. This is J-Lo's 3rd time on the shelf after Anaconda and Out of Sight.
Yes. 3-Timers Club. That's
the
great.
3-Timers Club. Yeah, she gets a jacket. Mm-hmm. Her movie career has been a little uneven, I would say. She's been in a lot of stuff, but she's like a little bit of everything. It's like rom-com and sci-fi and drama and thriller and all this stuff.
And Geely.
I don't even know what that was.
Yeah,
I don't think she's ever really nailed down what the J-Lo movie star persona is.
No. And I think that...
I don't think she's really nailed down what her career is. She's like, I'm a musician, I'm a movie star, I'm a this, I'm a that.
I don't want to take...
I'm married. I'm not. I'm married again. I'm not.
I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything, but like I think that she was at her best in Anaconda and Out of Sight. So if she could rewrite her trajectory, I would say just lean into more stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that I dislike this. I think that she is perhaps the perfect person for this part.
Yes.
And
she's more famous for being Jennifer Lopez than she is for anything she's done in her career.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's completely true.
You think of her like, oh yeah, she's a movie star, and then you look at her filmography, you're like, she's been in a couple things. Like I don't know, like, but she's a huge star. I guess she can bring people to the movie theater, but like for what? It's hard to like. I can't even really tell you. And like I guess she's a musician too, but like what is like what's her music?
Yeah, and it's funny because I think there are actually a couple Jennifers that fit this description, but she's one of the Jennifers who is hard to, like you were saying. I mean, it's hard to see her as anything but Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
And, just on screen playing a part.
I think maybe that what we're describing is like the purest expression of Jenniferness that exists.
Quite possibly.
Worth pointing out, she's 50 years old in this movie.
That's unbelievable.
Which is incredible. I mean, I don't even know I don't even know that was possible. And obviously, like, who knows? Like, there's technology involved. Like, there's CGI and everything.
Right.
Maybe she's had some work done, but like, even so, incredible. Her dance, like, if that was her dancing, which I'm pretty sure it was, she's good at it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a good stripper. She has great pole work.
Yes. Yeah. And which is, I mean, a real workout. Like that's
it looks hard.
Very challenging. I give credit to anyone who can do it.
And like the thing where you like go like perpendicular to the ground.
Yeah.
That looks really hard.
Yeah, you gotta have muscles that I don't have.
Yes. And balance. So this is like a little bit Showgirls, a little bit Set It Off, a little bit Goodfellas even. But there's not a lot of mystery to what these dancers are doing to these guys. Like we know what's happening. We know they're going to get caught.
Right.
And like the strippers themselves, they're not the most sympathetic characters because like what they're doing to these guys is fucking terrible.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah. Like even the character is like, wow, like you say it like that. It didn't seem so bad when we were doing it. But like, you're like, you could kill. I'm surprised nobody died.
Right.
Like and plus like just because somebody has like a $50,000 credit card limit doesn't mean they can pay that money back.
No,
you know what I mean? Like
no.
I'm surprised that they didn't get caught earlier. But it's just so like none of the characters here are sympathetic. Like because it's hard to feel bad for these Wall Street guys too.
Yeah.
Like
it is, but at the same time, I don't know. It might have something to do with people's opinion on sex work in general and just the culture of strip clubs because. It's easy to look at these guys and be like, well, they're fucking douchebags that go to strip clubs. But at the same time, I don't know, like, then it's a business.
Do what a strip club does.
Yes.
Take your clothes off and ask the guy to give you money.
Right.
And like that's how you do. You can't, when the guy's asleep, or like almost in a coma, like that's not the same thing.
Right.
That's not any kind of work.
I agree.
So
hard to celebrate.
But I do love a good subculture movie.
Yeah.
And like we get to live in their world a little bit. We get to hang out in the dressing room, which is like has to be one of the most like strip club dressing rooms are like have to be the most interesting places in the world.
It never doesn't make for good cinema.
Yeah. Like we get to hear their shop talk and like the lingo and the jargon that they use. And I think that's like that was like my main complaint of Magic Mike is like we didn't get to hang out at the strip club enough.
Right.
Here you get a way more of it.
Yeah.
And you get to see them be strippers and talk to each other and like how they think about their customers and whatever. And like I like that kind of stuff. I like the subculture movies. So this is 3.3 overall on Letterboxd. 595 people have it in their 4 favorites. 24% agree with my 3-star rating, including Kodiak, who says in his review, honestly, I was way too drunk to remember this. Last night was a rough one. Which, okay.
You better check his credit card balance.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have this at 3 stars too. Yeah. I had some pretty high expectations going in, and I don't know, this movie got a lot of hype when it came out. I think for Jennifer Lopez's performance, which again, physically phenomenal, and I don't want to take anything away from that, but might have underwhelmed me a bit just in terms of the whole story.
I think the story is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nobody to root for. Mm-hmm. Like, you're kind of hoping Constance Wu, like, gets out of it. Why? Like, I guess because, like, she has an old mom. Like, she's guilty too. Like, I don't know. Like, there's nobody to really root for. You know what's going to happen. And I know this is a true story, but maybe you change something to make it a little more interesting. I don't know. But yeah, it's fun. It's kind of funny. There's crime. There's a lot of nudity. And it's starring one of our premier Jennifers. And so I'm putting it on the staff recommendation shelf this week for Jennifers.
This was fun to rewatch.
Yeah.
And I would say if you haven't seen it, definitely pick it up. Jennifer Lopez, uneven career, but this is among the ones that are worth watching.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's a fun 3-star crime movie.
Yes, definitely. All right. Well, where am I going? I'm going back to 1996 from the heists and hookups section of the store. And my second pick for Jennifer's is Bound. Here's the back of the box. Ex-con Corky takes a job at renovating an apartment next door to mobster Caesar and his girlfriend Violet. When Violet and Corky begin a passionate affair, they hatch a plan to steal $2 million of mob money from Caesar. But as the heist unfolds, tensions rise, loyalties are tested in this stylish, high-stakes thriller. Tagline, for money, for murder, for each other. Which is, I think, great because it's playing off the title. Yeah. Bound for money, bound for murder, bound for each other. I think it's a phenomenal tagline.
I think it's a bad title.
Yes.
Because this movie's like kind of been on my radar since the mid-90s.
Okay.
Never seen it until this.
Same.
And I could not have told you one thing about what this movie was about until I watched it.
Same.
No idea. You know what I mean? Like the title tells you nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's one of those movies that's like, why? I don't know.
I was going to mention this in the why I chose this section, but I just lumped this into the erotic thrillers of the time category, like movies like Disclosure and Sliver, and what I thought Bound was. I
didn't even know that. Like, I thought it was like, I honestly don't know what it was about. I thought it was about like two women who fall in love on a farm or something. I don't know. Like, it could have been anything. Like, I knew the two actors that were like the leads.
Yeah.
But like, I had no idea what this movie was about. And I was like, I saw the title. I'm like, I don't know. I don't get it. And I did for 30 years. I've been thinking like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't know what, it feels like a title in service of the tagline.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can put together.
I mean, yeah, somebody was bound at some point, bound with rope.
That's true.
But like, it didn't seem like that's what the movie was about.
No. Yeah. So let's get into this a little bit. It's directed by Lana and Lily Wachowski in their feature debut. And Bound is a neo-noir crime thriller that's equal parts lesbian love story and heist thriller. This came out 3 years before The Matrix. And the Wachowskis definitely proved their craft, their ability with this film. I think especially when it comes to the cinematography, the storytelling.
Looks great.
It does look great. And this film earned some rightful acclaim for its progressive portrayal of a same-sex relationship, uncommon for mainstream thrillers of the time, and its commitment to genre convention while still subverting expectations. So Jennifer Tilly is our Jennifer in question here. She plays Violet, and Gina Gershon is Corky. But this was made on a very modest budget, $6 million, shot mostly on a single location set. Studio was initially very hesitant about a lesbian relationship at the center of this. They wanted Corky to be a man, but the Wachowskis were like, that movie's been made 1,000 fucking times. We're not changing it. And they even hired an intimacy coordinator, Susie Bright, to consult on the film's love scene. Cinematographer Bo Pope, who would go on to shoot The Matrix, helped kind of give this the style that it has. And interestingly, Jennifer Tilly was initially set to play the role of Corky, but suddenly Gina Gershon became available, was definitely better for that part, and Tilly went on to play Violet. Linda Hamilton was also originally sought out to play Corky, but wasn't available.
Not a Jennifer.
No, definitely not.
Jennifer Tilly was in our first episode.
Was she?
She's in the seat of Chucky.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean, if people know Jennifer Tilly,
Yeah.
It's probably for the Chucky movie.
It's probably from our first episode of this podcast.
Yes.
In which we talked about the seed of Chucky.
Yes.
She played herself, I think.
I think so. Yeah, but she's in a bunch of the Chucky movies.
Voice. Yeah, she's the voice of the Bride of Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
But then she also played herself in that movie,
right.
I think.
So Jennifer Tilly's favorite part of this movie was tripping Joe Pantoliano. Pantoliano's favorite scene was punching Gina Gershon, and Gina Gershon's favorite part was pistol whipping Joe Pantoliano. Why did I choose this? So, similar to you, I just not necessarily avoided, but I just never watched this movie for a long time. Yeah. A, because I didn't know the Wachowskis were responsible for it, and B, I didn't know what it was. I
had no idea.
Mistakenly lumped it into a different category of film.
It's not even an erotic thriller.
Not really.
It seems like it's going to be for 15 minutes.
Right.
And then it's not.
Yes. I mean, there is a vivid sex scene in this.
Yeah.
But that's it.
That's it, yeah. It's a noir.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. I was really surprised by this. It's sexy, suspenseful. It's smart. And it's the rare thriller that manages to be erotic in moments without being exploitative. Tells a lesbian love story that's genuine and thrilling. I think that Jennifer Tilly, who isn't somebody that I'm typically a fan of, maybe because of her voice.
She's not in a ton of stuff.
She's not.
She's like an elite poker player.
Is she?
Well, she won a World Series of Poker tournament at some point. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Good for her. Well, I think that she's terrific as Violet. She brings just a unique energy to that part, and it's manipulative, a little bit mysterious, ultimately empowered. Plus, this movie's a tight 109 minutes of tension, and it still feels fresh nearly 30 years later. So I think fantastic crime film, bold declaration from the Wachowskis of the kind of audacious storytelling they were capable of. Plus, Joey Pants is fantastic in this. He's just a lot of fun to watch.
Real slime ball.
This averages a 4.0 on Letterboxd, which is right where I have it. Along with 33% of other users. 4,900 people have this on their list of 4 favorites. I grabbed a 4-star review by Sally Jane Black for Bound, where she said, "The biggest snub in award show history is this: losing Best Kiss to fucking Independence Day."
I mean, I guess, what is that, the MTV Awards?
That's the MTV Movie Awards, and it indeed did lose to fucking Independence Day.
Who kisses who in Independence Day?
Can't even remember.
I have no idea.
It's probably Will Smith and his wife,
I assume,
from the movie.
Vivica A. Fox.
But my God. I mean, there's some great kissing in this.
Well, everybody knows the MTV Movie Awards is political.
Yes. Always has been, always will be. Those little astronauts.
Yeah.
All planned who they go to. But, what'd you think of this? It sounds like you liked it.
I did like it. Yeah, I have it at 3 stars. Couldn't make the leap quite to 4, but I put a pin in it. I'm going to go back to it at some point.
Yeah.
It's just, it looks so good. It felt a little closed in. Almost like I don't understand. I couldn't understand why they're all in the same apartment building.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I felt like that it kind of created some logical hurdles they had to jump over. That could have been just put them in different house. Put them in 2 different houses next door. This solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, you can feel the budget maybe.
Being but no, it's good. It's a very stylized, really good looking crime movie.
I also had no idea how it was all going to unfold.
Yeah. No, yeah. It was it's a real tension.
Yeah.
How the fuck are they going to get out of this?
Yeah. So if you are unfamiliar and perhaps have skipped over Bound like we did, give it a shot. It's going on the shelf. It's my second movie for Jennifer's.
Okay. I'm going to keep us in the 90s. 1992. The movie is Single White Female.
This is another one that I had not seen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely had seen this before.
I thought Madonna was in it.
I thought I hadn't seen it before, but then I watched it. I'm like, I had definitely seen this movie. This is filed under Big Bang's Theory. Here's the back of the box.
That section of the store is a favorite.
Yeah, a lot of 80s and 90s movies in there.
Yeah.
Attractive Manhattanite Allison Jones has it all. A handsome beau, a rent-controlled apartment, and a promising career as a fashion designer. When boyfriend Sam proves unfaithful, Allison strikes out on her own, but must use the classifieds to seek out a roommate in order to keep her spacious digs. I mean, you got to use the classifieds. That's a big fucking deal. Yeah. It's 1992.
It's before Craigslist.
Yeah. What else are you going to do?
Well, I mean, I don't have
What are you complaining about, back of the box? Here's a tagline. Living with a roommate can be murder. Pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, hard to argue with that.
Yeah. It's not like, I can't give it like an A+ or anything. It's just like, it's not quite, but it's like, yeah, good. Yeah. I like it. So this is a psychosexual thriller starring Bridget Fonda, Steven Weber, and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
That's right.
She could also be in our Jason's episode if we ever do that. So stay tuned. So Bridget Fonda kicks Steven Weber out of their apartment when she finds out he's been cheating, and her search for a roommate turns up Jennifer Jason Leigh, who is like kind of like this out of place in the big city type of character. And she latches pretty hard onto Bridget Fonda. Way too hard. And Jennifer Jason Leigh like kind of like slowly infiltrates and manipulates every corner of Bridget Fonda's life.
Right.
I don't know that we get a ton of erotic thrillers anymore.
Nope.
But it seems like back in these days, the 80s, 90s, like, I don't know, like 500 a year, roughly?
Yeah,
I mean, there were so many of them. Yeah. At least like once a month, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a definitely a specific vibe to that 90s erotic thriller, you know, and I think because like cable TV was getting very popular then, like video stores, of course.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, the way movies looked back then. And there's just like this real like late night secretive energy about them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
a good way
like,
to put it.
The whole Cinemax brand is built on this,
For
right?
sure.
Like the silk stockings and whatever else, all those things.
Red Shoe Diaries, all that
stuff. This is also one of the few movies that has become a verb. Like you can single white female somebody.
Yeah. Huh?
You know, you can just say, "Oh, I'm going to single white female that person," and they'll be like, "Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about." And you probably knew that even though you had never seen it.
I knew it was not good.
Yeah. You knew it involved a certain haircut.
Uh-huh.
So Jennifer Jason Leigh has been on the shelf one time before for Backdraft.
That's right.
Small part in that. But she's been in some classics. You know, she was in Fast Times, Hateful Eight, Miami Blues.
Yeah.
Hudsucker Proxies, I think one of her standout performances, maybe one of the standout performances of the 90s.
She's got a good film resume.
Yeah. And yeah, she's always like kind of like hovered at that in that like second tier, like for her whole career. She was kind of like a proto Parker Posey or something. Like she's worked with like Cronenberg and Tarantino and like all the like these auteurs, but she's never been like a movie star.
Right. But to her credit, she made some ambitious choices and love her for that. Like, not always the hero, not always the villain. Yeah.
But she's still around. She's been doing it for, 50 years at this point.
Yes.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, not her given name.
Oh.
Although she is a Jennifer.
I was going to ask.
She is a Jennifer. She was born Jennifer Lee Morrow. Her dad was Vic Morrow.
Oh, okay.
The actor, and her mom was a screenwriter, Barbara Turner. And I guess she didn't have like a great relationship with her dad, and she wanted to kind of like put some distance between him for like career reasons also. And so she named herself Jennifer Jason Leigh. Do you know who Jason came from?
No.
Jason Robards.
Is that right?
Who was like a quote friend of the family.
Okay.
Haven't been able to figure out what that means. I don't know if he was like a surrogate father or like who I don't know. Oh, but boy. Yeah, she's named after Jason Robards.
Fascinating.
Or she named herself after Jason Robards.
Not on my bingo card.
She got an early start. She started at like 10, and then she became a big star after Fast Times. So why do I recommend this? I think this is kind of like just above like replacement level 90s erotic thriller.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of movie that I enjoy. I enjoy this type of movie.
Yeah, highly watchable.
Yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh is just like this dang ass freak.
Yeah,
who like her character is like unsettling, but it's still a little sympathetic, a little bit. I do think they let her off the hook at the end, which kind of bums me out. So like, she was going through some shit. Like, I guess I'm okay with the fact that she murdered all my friends. It's like, what are you
Literally
doing?
Everybody.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this movie?
I mean, having not seen this, I found myself watching this and pretty early on thinking, oh, I think she's crazy.
Yeah.
And then
right.
and then progressively it's like, oh, she's really fucking crazy.
And so then we get we eventually figure out that she's like always been fucking crazy.
Yeah. Which is maybe my only nitpick, because she comes in and is not giving off crazy vibes, and based on the crazy that she's got bottled up inside her, I don't know how you hide that.
Well, that's part of the crazy, right? That's like you're able to do that. Yeah. And also we get the trope where the character finds the box of pictures and newspaper clippings or whatever. And she's like, oh, I figured, Yeah. I mean, that's a way for them to bottle it all up, put it in the box, and I can go outside and be the non-crazy version.
I just take this with me everywhere I go. It's a shoebox of proof that I'm crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Does anybody do that? I really want to know.
No, I mean, I don't know many crazy people, but I can't imagine they keep a shoebox full.
I mean, they keep shoeboxes full of newspaper clippings, but it's like there's no like coherent story to it. I think.
Yeah.
So a single white female. It's rated 3.2 overall on Letterboxd. 46 people have it in their 4 favorites, and 35% agree with my 3-star rating, including Jane Hen, who says everything in this film makes sense except the haircuts.
Well, I don't know. Bridget Fonda looks great with that haircut.
She does, and it is the single white female haircut.
It is.
Right? Like, if somebody gets that haircut, the first thing you say to that person is like, oh, you got the single white female.
I suspected that Jennifer Jason Leigh was going to get that haircut at some point, shortly before she does. And I was surprised how good she looks in it. I mean, and how similar she looks to Bridget Fonda.
I mean, that is what single white femaling somebody is. It's like it's getting the same haircut as them, showing up in public. So I'm putting this up on the staff recommendation shelf this week for Jennifer's.
I agree with all your ratings this week.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah. It's rare that you agree with mine. And I don't think you will, especially as I get into my last movie, but you picked some good ones, and I'm locked in with you on how you felt about them. Great. Well, fun pick. Glad I finally had a reason to watch it. Madonna is not in this, much to my surprise. But
what movie are you thinking about?
I don't even know. But yeah, glad I finally got to put this in the old DVD player. All right. So my final pick, I am going back to the 80s, 1984. And I'm going to the Monkey Butlers section of the store.
Emphasis on butt.
Emphasis on butt. And my final pick is Phenomena. Here's the back of the box. It's another short one. All short backs of the boxes this week.
Like,
a young girl with an amazing ability to communicate with insects is transferred to an exclusive Swiss boarding school where her unusual capability might help solve a string of murders. Tagline: Jennifer has a few million close friends. She's going to need them all. So, who's the Jennifer in question? It is Jennifer Connelly.
Also the characters.
Also,
Jennifer.
And she plays a Jennifer. She plays Jennifer Corvino, who's a sleepwalking telepath with a psychic bond to bugs.
And a famous dad.
Yes, and a famous dad. So, I'm going to start with a review from Bud Wilkins from Slant Magazine. This came out when the movie came out. And I plucked it because I think that it acknowledges something that you have talked about in past episodes regarding movies we've covered before. Bud says, eschewing fussily prepared...
What? I would never say anything like that.
Eschewing fussily prepared 3-act structures and stopwatch timed story beats, Dario Argento's films unfold according to their own distinctive logic.
Hey, I like structure. I appreciate story structure.
You do, yeah. And this gives 0 fucks about structure. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
Maybe more than 0 fucks, but not many.
I mean, yeah, it's telling a story.
It's telling a story.
Yeah.
As mentioned, this is directed by...
It's Carrie with bugs.
Right, it kind of is. Yeah. This is directed by Dario Argento, and it is a gonzo horror fantasy that mashes together a supernatural mystery, a serial killer, and an insect-laden fairy tale. It was released as Creepers in the United States in a heavily edited version. They cut out a fuck ton of the weird stuff. And this version, which is the one people should watch, is pure Argento. So we got his trademark visuals are here, brutal violence, baffling plot twists, weird acting. Jennifer Connelly is still very early in her career. She carries the film with this kind of sense of calm. And we get Donald Pleasance as well, who's clearly collecting a paycheck.
He refused to stand up in a wheelchair the whole time.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a wheelchair-bound scientist, an ally to Jennifer Connelly. And the film is scored with a wild mix of goblin tracks during their hair metal era and some heavy metal needle drops. There's a Motorhead song at a really fucking unusual time.
The heavy metal music threw me off a little bit.
I mean,
it just seemed
Argento loves it.
Weird. I mean, it's cool. Yeah. It's like I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. I
was like, this isn't scary. This is just, I don't know.
This is just metal.
It's just metal. Yeah.
Right.
Like, should I be headbanging?
Right. So this was released in 1985 and considered one of Argento's last great Giallo-influenced films. And like I said, soundtrack has some goblins, got some Iron Maiden, some Motorhead. The U.S. cut was trimmed down to 82 minutes. I forgot to look at how long this was. I think it's close to 2 hours. And
it's definitely longer than...
Yeah, 82 minutes. I
want to say like 110 minutes or something.
Right. They were definitely trying to make a movie for you with the U.S. cut, but it took out large chunks of the weirdness and ultimately doesn't make a lot of sense. Jennifer Connelly was 14 during filming, reportedly didn't know the full extent of how strange the movie was until she saw the final cut. This film does feature a trained chimpanzee named Inga, whose on-set behavior was unpredictable. Allegedly, she bit Connelly during production. Yeah. But I would say it's a strong animal performance.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, a little too much monkey, I think.
Yeah, we get a lot of this monkey. So why did I choose this? I'm a big fan of Argento and his trademark style, but I recognize that this is not for everyone. Dario Argento himself, not for everyone. 7 minutes in what kind of movie this is? Because here's kind of what we get in that first 7 minutes. We get a girl gets abandoned by a bus, finds a house in the forest, gets strangled by something chained to a wall in that house, stabbed by that something, chased by that same something through a cave, another forest. They end up in a weird house above a river where she gets murdered, and then her head falls off. That's all within the first 7 minutes, and 2 of those minutes are credits. Yeah. It's pretty batshit crazy from the start, but I like what Argento's doing. I know that he's not everybody's brand of horror, but between the Goblin soundtrack, the weird acting, and just the unexpected things that this movie throws at you, I definitly enjoy it. It gives you more bugs so you can swat at.
I didn't love the bugs. I gotta say, it's not a
bugs
big fan
are not
of
for
bugs.
Yeah.
I understand that's what the movie is, but
yeah,
I don't know about it, man.
I think that if you're into Argento, this is something you're probably going to adore. If you're not, this won't be your gateway drug.
I don't know how many of his movies I've seen. I haven't quite jumped into the deep end on the Italian horror movies.
Yeah,
Argento in particular. I like this, but
really.
Oh yeah, I like weird 70s horror vibes.
Good.
So, and again, the bugs I wasn't into though.
Right. You do get a lot of.
Didn't love the bugs. It's a 3-star movie for me just because I'm not deep into the Italian horror movies. It's kind of. Especially Argento, it's kind of like jazz a little bit, where it's just you just kind of have to be into the groove, and I wasn't quite into the groove.
Yeah.
And I would think I was ready for something a little bit more violent, even though you just described a whole bunch of horrible violence.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I dug it, but I wasn't ready for it. Let's put it that way.
I'm also 3 stars with this. I Suspiria is still my favorite of his movies. We've covered that on the staff recommendation shelf before. This had some modest returns in Europe where the full movie was released. It was a flop in the United States under the Creepers cut, but it averages a 3.6 on Letterboxd. Like I said, I'm at 3 stars along with 18% of other users. A majority actually have it at 4, but there are 781 people that have this on their list of 4 favorites, and I plucked a 5-star review from Chelsea who said, "Now this is a movie that radiates comfort."
For the bugs.
for somebody. So that's my final pick for Jennifer's, and it is Phenomena.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal movies
like
today.
That. I hope that Rewind Videos, Jennifer, feels appropriately welcomed to the fold by our picks for the shelf this week.
Or our Roberts episode didn't make me feel welcome.
Okay.
So maybe it'll be different for her.
Indeed. Once again, we selected 6 movies for the staff recommendation shelf, and all of them have a Jennifer in them. The movies we chose are Dirty Dancing, Red Dawn, Hustlers, Bound, Single White Female, and Phenomena.
If you don't have time to stop into the store, you can always visit us 24 hours a day at rewindvideopod.com. We're on Letterboxd and Blue Sky, or you can send us an email at rewindvideopod@gmail.com. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to, and share the podcast with all your friends who love movies.
Do it. Let them know.
Tell them about it, folks.
So it's time once again to look ahead to our upcoming episode. And this time, the theme we'll be covering will be pleasure. I'm calling it now. There's no chance we'll have anything weird, subversive, or like the least bit uncomfortable with a theme like this, right?
You can never say that about your picks.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Pleasure is what's on the docket. As usual, we'll have 6 movies to recommend, but if you're looking for something in the meantime, feel free to hit us up for a movie to watch, and we will see you next time.
Be kind, recommend.